Should we
Okay.
start?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Hi, I'm Grace,
And I'm Priska.
and this is the Fighting Club, a space where being together makes us stronger.
Take a break and hang out with us.
It's
For
not,
me,
we
a
have
fighting
these.
club
Yeah.
is more than just a podcast. And it truly is rooted in our friendship first. And I feel like I've really seen that in the way that you've shown up for me. And I think that core value is really going to shine throughout this next season, even while I'm not here. I mean, obviously, we still have our friendship and it's active
Mhm.
apart from this podcast, but that is really what is driving all of this.
The question that I really have for you and me is whether you can have a friendship within a sibling relationship and just talk about our own relationship through the years as kids to our 20s till now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's the open question.
I think definitely it is possible. And I am close friends with you as well as Joy, our younger sister. Um, Obviously the dynamic is different, my relationship with you and then my relationship with Joy because of age, but I definitely looked up to you as a role model when we were younger. And I remember, like a few stories to share, like distinctly, I think I was in middle school and I think it was like sixth or seventh grade, and there was this blue shirt that you really liked. And it
Mm,
was like a blue faded shirt. So at the
mm,
top it was white, and in the middle it was like light blue, and it got darker and darker.
mm.
And I remember you distinctly were like, I like that shirt. And then you were like, you should get it. And so then I got it. And so I really looked up to you, and I think you kind of used me as your like guinea pig, like, oh, I like this cologne. And I
Oh yeah,
distinctly
you're like my
remember,
Ken doll, my Asian
yeah,
Ken doll.
like,
I could dress up. I do think there's this special community connection, relational connection that
Hmm.
the Asian culture and the Black culture have.
Ew.
There's a connectivity.
Fried
So,
chicken.
is it fried chicken? Oh yeah, definitely fried chicken. Like, yeah, Korean fried chicken is based off of the Black communities fried
During the
chicken
war, we
during
connected
the
in that
war.
way and we shared recipes. Literally, so it's so crazy. When I found this out, I said,
Yeah,
"Oh, I gotta tell my girl Grace." I literally just found that out. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm very
yeah.
embarrassed. But I was thinking, wow, our communities have been connected for so long, and I didn't even
Yes.
realize, to this extent that we just shared things.
But that's what I realized about life is that when you
Yeah,
want something so much,
yeah,
it doesn't happen. But when you finally let it go, like you're
yeah,
just like, you know what? It's in like God's hands.
yeah,
It's not in my
yeah,
like control anymore.
yeah.
It just falls right where it's
I
supposed to fall.
know. It's
It
so crazy. I
it
know.
turns out to be even better than what you were actually planning it to be or expecting it to be. So
Hmm.
yeah, like definitely I've learned to like just let things go and go with the flow.
Is there anything in particular, like an example of that, where you like were holding on to it, something so hard, and then once you let go, like it happened and it happened the way it's supposed to?
Honestly, like my like job opportunities, it's just like I would want it so much and I would
Yeah,
want it in a particular way or want that particular position.
yeah,
And then months and months and months, I would go through like agony because it
yeah,
would not work out. And then
yeah,
when finally I was like, you know what? If it's supposed to happen, if it's supposed to happen.
yeah,
And then it would like turn out to be like the most easiest way I would get the position or the perfect
yeah,
opportunity that arises. So a lot of I think the job opportunity kind of goes
yeah,
that way. And then like living situations, I'm just like recently I just moved, but like
yeah,
for a while I'm like I wanted it a specific way. I wanted this, I wanted that, I wanted only
yeah,
this for my apartment. And I was like, wait, I'm never gonna find that in my budget. So I just
yeah,
kind of was like, last resort, let's just check out this building. And it
yeah.
was like the perfect like
Wow, everything you
situation.
wanted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think all of our highlights, it's so interesting because, we kind of just connected and then one of the biggest things with being friends with me is that I will stay in contact. And
Yes,
I think
you're very good
that's
at that.
a real difference between me and a lot of people. So
Yeah.
like even though we actually haven't lived in the same place, we didn't even, you weren't even here for what was it? You were here for like 4 months, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't that much time.
Yeah.
And since then, that was 4 months,
Yeah.
almost 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And we have still connected and spent so much time together. So I
Mhm.
think some of my highlights was when I did come visit in New York and we
Uh,
stayed at your contact's house. And that was
yeah,
my
it was really nice.
first time staying in a super fancy, what I call a
Yeah.
penthouse,
Yeah.
in New York City, because my
Yeah.
family does not have penthouses in New York City. So I was like, oh wow,
The generous friend.
this
Yeah.
was very nice. So we
Mhm.
stayed there. So that was cool. And then I was like, oh, Grace, let's go. I was gonna meet up with my cousins. And
Yes.
so I was like, I don't know. They said they wanted to meet in New York. I mean, I wanted to go to that place. That's what it was. I
Yeah,
wanted to
mom was
go.
sushi.
And then they said, okay, come. I know the owner. So we
Hmm.
went and they had plátano sushi, which was
Plátano
delicious.
sushi, that's
It was
right.
so good. And then we ended up doing a lot of shots. Grace ended up actually getting sick, which
I
is
got
funny that
so sick. I
we talked
know.
about being sick. And I'm like, Grace, was that when COVID started? Like, because it was 2019. And
It
you
was
got
before COVID.
so sick.
I
And then
got so sick.
it's so funny, y'all, because you can also tell the difference. You can tell the similarities in culture and the differences in culture when someone's sick. Because Grace immediately left, and then she was in the house with no air circulating. And I'm like, girl, we need air circulating. What you talking about? But then she's like, I need tea. And I was like, we would totally do tea. And then to me, I'm also like, oh, you need to get some Vicks. And I was like, I don't think you have
I
it.
don't have
But
anything.
poor Gracie was so sick.
But it's easier to regulate myself with my kids than it is in any other situation.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I definitely explode and
Yeah,
have
yeah.
arguments, but my kids are so forgiving and gracious that
Oh,
I apologize. Because that's the thing, right? Is I think with our parents' generation, they weren't able to do the repair piece. So they would
didn't
scream at
repair. Yeah,
me like abusive and then just brush it on the under the rug and be like,
right.
okay, can we eat dinner and
Yeah,
never have a conversation.
that's
And
true.
so with my kids, it's always about the repair. When I blow up, I apologize. I tell them what I was feeling. I tell them that it's not right for me to talk that way, and I apologize, and they always forgive me. Um,
Wow.
and so I think over time it becomes easier to self-regulate because I don't want to yell at them. I don't want to scream at them. I don't want to lose my cool.
That, I mean, I'm like about to cry just hearing that because I just feel like being able to repair a relationship immediately with your child as a mom is what you said, like not having that with our own parents who are just struggling to make it work and survive as immigrants in the US. Like they weren't taught these tools of how to self-regulate and then repair a relationship. But like it's just I can see why it's healing
Mhm.
to experience that with your children. It's like what you didn't get to have, you're able to have with your own children.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think we know the negative impact, right, of
Yeah.
not having that repair. And
Yeah.
I would never want my kids to experience that.
Also, because we're the oldest children in our
Mhm.
families, you with your two younger brothers and me with younger brothers and sisters, like we had to forge a new path and no one was telling us what to do. So we really lean on each other.
Yeah.
Going back to UPenn, do you remember like when Facebook had just come into the scene? I was obsessed.
Oh my God. Yes, I do remember that. First of all, there was a physical Facebook when
Yes.
I started school. You
Yeah.
order it before school,
Yeah.
and I had that.
Yeah.
I wish I still had it, but I gave it to some upperclassman who wanted to borrow it to like
Yeah.
scope out the class, and obviously he never gave it back.
He wanted to see the new freshman girls coming onto campus too,
He
probably.
said it was for his frat, but you're probably right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was used for both
Yeah.
purposes. But yeah, so I do, but then it didn't matter. I didn't need the physical version because we had the online version. And you were so obsessed with it, Grace. Like my biggest memory from that era
When
was
they visited you on campus, yeah.
yes, you visited me on campus and it was so fun. I'm like giving you the tour. We're walking all around campus. You have your cell phone. You're like, checking on our Facebook on the go. Inevitably, your battery runs out.
Yep.
Like classic.
Yeah.
And then we were gonna like go to dinner or we had something next.
Yeah.
And we were miles away from my dorm. And you were basically like, okay, but Christine, can we please go back to your room? Like, I need to go back now. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like, why? Did you leave something? Are you okay? And you were like, I need to check my Facebook. You were like, I cannot. And I remember like we did this and I was like, Grace, you are insane.
And I just hold both of you guys in such high regard in the things that you do professionally, but how you live your lives personally with your family, your friends, to your faith community too. I just have so much respect for. And so I'm just like really, really grateful that I have precious, 소중한 친구들 like you guys in my life. So
we feel the same way, and we are loyal to you. You're one of the most loyal people. And honestly, like I feel like we've had many deep conversations because I think friendships to us, it's chosen family, and you choose to be with one another. And in a lot of ways, it's more powerful than actual blood family because with blood family, you don't choose each other and you have to stick with each other because you're family. But with chosen family, you choose, like both party chooses to be there and to be present, and either party can walk away whenever they want.
Right.
And I think that's what's really powerful is like, no, we choose and we want to continue showing up, even when we have our ugly sides, even when we have our bad days, even when we have our flaws, we still choose to show up for each other because we want to and we love each other that much. So in a lot of ways, their chosen family is more powerful than even your own family, your own blood family.
And I feel like one thing I've learned as I've gotten older is that like interests, like common interests, like strengths, those all change as you get older and you mature. But how you view friendship and like your values don't change. And so I feel like that's actually what brings us together because obviously David, me, and you are all very different from each other. But at the same time, because we view friendship and like the value of friendship.
I'm so glad that we got to like build and do something that we hope for season 2 together and do it in our first episode. So thank you.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm super excited for the guests, and I will be tuning in.
Well, to all of our friends listening,
Fighting!
Fighting!
Fighting! Fighting!
Fighting!
Fighting!